To call the Town of Rome annual meeting for Tuesday, 6 o'clock on April 19th to order, please. Number 2, can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Number 3, can we get a certified posting of the meeting, please?
I certify that on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022, the agenda for the Town of Rome annual meeting for Tuesday, April 19th, 2022 was emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 10:30 a.m., posted at Rome Town Hall at 10:25 a.m., at Leicester Public Library of Rome at 10:45 a.m., and at Nakusa Port Edward State Bank at 10:40 a.m.
Thank you. Number 4, speak your peace commitment. A reminder that the town board members have adopted the 9 tools of civility, which commits the board members and public to be mindful of how we treat each other at meetings. And I'd like to just note now that when we have any votes coming up, we'll do it by acclamation. If we're close, then we'll use the cards. Green is for yes, red is for no. And just a reminder, number 8 is open to all participants here for any questions that we don't cover prior to that. Number 5, consideration of the April 20, 2021 minutes. Can we get a motion?
I would make a motion to approve the April 20th, 2021 minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Number 6, the financial statements covered under Wisconsin Statute 60.41. Jamie?
Thank you. So there was a financial statement included as part of the packet for this evening. You'll notice that the 2020 statement is budget and actual. The 2021 budget and actual is unaudited numbers. So I just wanted to review a little bit about the 2021 numbers. Again, those are unaudited numbers. We know that there will be changes to them for when you see them again next year because we always have some journal entries and some adjustments that occur. But you're going to notice that prior year revenue, it was more than anticipated. And that's for a couple reasons. One, we had some unassigned fund balance that carried forward from 2020. And we had some fund balance that we brought forward both for our library and police capital. In police capital, that was brought forward because we've been having some difficulty getting squads, and so we moved that money forward into a future year. On tax levies and special assessments, you're going to notice a great difference in that number. One, that number it'll be audited. When it's audited, it will be less. But in addition to that, that's gross revenue that we're bringing in. So you're seeing all of the room tax there, and we pay 70% of that out by state statute to Visit Rome. And you're seeing an additional special assessment that got paid off. They usually pay that on an annual basis through taxes, but that property was sold and they took care of the special assessment and sale. So you're just seeing that number appears large in an unaudited statement because it's the gross of all revenues coming in that case before we've dispersed anything back out.
Excuse me, is that all in this?
No,
Is
it's.
there a separate?
It was part of the town board packet. It is online, but let me,
Never mind.
hold on.
We're looking for it, we don't see it.
Hold on. Technology couldn't be great. I didn't work on my jokes. How about that? Better?
Yes.
Okay. Then intergovernmental revenues, again, you're gonna see that number is larger also. That is due to some managed forest land that got taken out. When managed forest land is taken out in the interim period before it's actually is exited managed forest land, they have to pay that back tax. And there were a couple large parcels, including the Lido and some secluded land parcels that got taken out last year. Those are one-time funds that come in for that, exit from managed forest land. And again, we get that dollar amount in gross, and then we have to pay other entities their tax out of that, including the county. So you're seeing that as a gross number. When that number is audited, it will have that removal of the funds that we had to pay to the other taxing entities. Your license and permits was higher because your building and zoning permits were very good last year. We'll talk about that in the report, but we had a 92% increase in new homes last year, so that is just the increase in your building and zoning permits taken through the zoning department. Under public charges, that number is increased for 3 reasons. One, copies. We charge for copies when we do title searches, and we had a lot of title searches because we had a lot of sales last year. Solid waste user fees were increased, and so were Derek Hughes fees. Again, we'll talk about that in the presentation, but we raised the fee at Derek Hughes from 15 to 20, and we had increased ridership there. And then under miscellaneous revenue, we did very well in RTC property sales. We don't budget for RTC, Rome Town Center, previously Alpine Village Business Park. We don't budget an annual dollar amount for that, but we did very well in sales last year, 51,000. And our surplus sales for equipment through Wisconsin Surplus did really well. Those of you that are following local governance will know that we just recently sold a surplus piece of property. That's not included in this number. That'll be included in next year's number. But that number is increased because we did so well in our surplus property sales and in Rome Town Center sales. The expenses are, in most cases, lower and pretty comparable for budget. The 2 I would just point out there is in your capital outlay. We, in our general fund, always do a general capital outlay. We don't always necessarily intend to spend all that money, but we do keep it in case there would be a capital outlay item that per se would occur and we would need to get it fixed. That wasn't spent last year, so that dollar amount reflects an actual much lower than budgeted. And under your debt service, we did a refinancing of a loan, and when you refinance that loan, you have an occurrence where you pay it off because you've taken out the next new loan. So that's why that number appears to be so much higher in actual. So because of those number differences, I just wanted to talk through a couple of those things. Again, these are unaudited numbers. They will look different after we get through audit and we do journal entries to put things in different accounts or buckets because of receiving them in gross and doing the distribution out. If there were any questions, I think we would entertain questions otherwise.
So, Jamie,
Uh-huh.
even though it's unaudited financials, and the way things are looking with new homes and everything else, it looks like we have more money coming in than we have going out, am I correct?
Yes, we did have more in unassigned fund balance than budgeted for this year. We did have more. We do have a policy for unassigned fund balance, though, to stay in between a certain dollar amount for the town. We are well within that percentage. The only thing I would say there is, last year, we did do well in some things like room tax. And in some cases, as our growth occurs, that will allow us some abilities to maybe take care of some items that need to be taken care of because of our growth. Whether that's some additional service or item or road or capital project, would allow us that flexibility. Maybe another good example of that would be the extension of the road through Rome Town Center as that development continues to occur and we have the interest in sale of property. We can't sell that property because we don't have access to it. And in order to build access to it, we'd have to build a road.
But we are able, are you telling me now that with tourism dollars, which is that we're doing very well, we can now use that for road repairs and things like that would get you to the sites of, before, I know we've talked about it, because I think we need to talk to somebody in Madison, that all of the money went to Tourism Bureau, but was not going to fix our roads or anything else, which I think should be included in getting to the beaches and getting to the golf courses and such.
So tourism dollars are set through state statute as a 70-30 split. They've been set through state statute as a 70-30 split for some time. 70% goes to Visit Rome. Lisa Kubish, the new executive director, did a really nice piece, if you haven't been to Visit Rome's website or on their Facebook page, that talks about their funding and where their funding goes and what they're utilizing it for, and their granting process, which has been very helpful to a lot of community groups and to the town. So it's that 70-30 split's been in existence for a long time. We keep 30, we give 70 to the tourism entity to promote tourism in the community. Again, that's why you're seeing that larger number, because that's a gross number, and then we're doing that distribution. And the numbers we talk about tonight, you'd have to split 70-30. No other questions? Okay,
Please forward.
you want to read that next agenda item? And then I think we can.
Number 7, the State of the Town Report.
Great. So I do just have a little bit of a presentation this evening and a PowerPoint. Hopefully there was enough copies for everyone. Just wanted to say welcome and thank you for joining us this evening for the town's annual meeting. Once a year, all towns across the state of Wisconsin gather on the third Tuesday in April for their respective annual meeting. And tonight we reflect on notable items for 2021 and we share some major projects for 2022. We also say thank you to Supervisor Jerry Wiesinger, who's going to be stepping down from the town board tonight, and welcome to Lori Giamatti, who's going to be joining the board. So shared this evening was the State of the Town PowerPoint and the departmental annual reports. These reports provide a wealth of knowledge about the town departments, and while we will be reviewing highlights this evening, the reports are kept on the town's website, and I encourage residents to take a few minutes to review them to learn more about all the incredible stuff our town departments do. In highlighting a couple items from each department, first I'd start with the clerk treasurer. The town held 2 elections in 2021. 677 votes were cast, with 212 being absentee. The clerk treasurer department received over $13 million in taxes through January 31st, 2021 from over 6,300 properties. The American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, accounts were established for revenues received and expenditures to be made with funds received from the federal government. And we'll be talking more about ARPA a couple times in the presentation tonight. But the town to date has received just over $144,000 and will be receiving the remaining half of those funds this summer. We added a payroll portal system in 2021 for staff to record and submit timesheets, improving efficiencies in our payroll and accounting. And we also saw a dramatic increase in our room tax revenue, over 733,000 this year versus 473 last year. And Amy Reutemann is our clerk treasurer. They love it when I make them wave. Yes. Okay.
And again, that's 733. We keep 30% of that.
Correct. In the fire department, in 2021, we experienced increases across all call types except for hazardous conditions. We do expect medical calls to decrease in 2022 due to the creation of the Big Flats, Monroe, and Rome EMS district and the transition to LifeStar ambulance service. We'll be touching more about LifeStar a couple times tonight. Other call volume, such as fires, service calls, etc., will likely remain steady, if not increase in the future. And the cover of the fire department report was of our new fire suppression system, or what we call 670. This was a great partnership between the fire department fund and the town. The town purchased the truck and the fire department fund purchased the suppression system that's in the truck. So big thanks to the fire department fund for helping accomplish that this past year. The fire department continued to work cooperatively with Adams County Public Health for COVID testing and vaccination clinics. And at this time, we have discontinued weekly testing, but we do stand ready if needed to in the future. The town also intensified our implementation of the dead timber and brush enforcement areas after we did a review and revision of the town code through our dead timber and brush subcommittee. If you did receive a letter discussing removal of your dead timber and brush, please know you're not alone. Please refer to the reinspection date on your letter, as the town asks that you work towards making progress in cleaning up your down, dead, and diseased timber on the date provided for your property. We will be reevaluating Area 1 for a final time after April 30th. These were the first properties to be completed in 2021, and following this final reinspection of Area 1, properties that are not in compliance or making progress may potentially receive citation. Everyone knows that I like to take the annual meeting as a moment to encourage residents to join the fire department. It's a wonderful way to provide volunteer service to the community, and there's a variety of ways to serve. And Interim Chief Mark Kane is in the back, and he would be happy to sign up any new volunteers this evening. The Leicester Public Library of Rome is returning to normal after the height of COVID and extended their hours to opening at 9 a.m. during the week and returned to having Saturday hours. The library experienced over 18,000 visits last year, and that was an increase from almost 16,000 visits in 2020. Adult and children material circulation is included on the slide, and the wireless internet usage is over 24,000 connections at the library, meaning you brought your device and you're hooking up to our Wi-Fi. The library held strong summer and adult reading programs in 2021, and I wanted to note that library staff member Cassie Williams' artwork was used as part of the Tales to Tales summer reading program, and that's featured in the library's report. In 2022, the library has an opportunity to partner with the Adams County Library on a bookmobile project. The bookmobile would provide Wi-Fi in addition to circulation materials, and I really think with over 24,000 wireless internet connections, the bookmobile would certainly have the ability to bring Wi-Fi to students, elderly, potentially homebound, and families throughout Adams County communities. Renee Daly is our library director and had a pre-scheduled vacation for tonight, thus she couldn't be with us this evening. The Town of Rome Municipal Court handled 295 cases in 2021. That was a decrease over 2020. The town's municipal court judge is Mark Thibodeau, and if anyone would like to see municipal court in action, it is held the third Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. and the public is welcome unless it's a juvenile case. As mentioned under the fire department, the town partnered with Big Flats and Monroe for the creation of an EMS district and transitioned to an agreement with LifeStar Ambulance Service at the end of 2021. Included in this slide is the average response times both for the EMS district as a whole and the town of Rome. Through March 2022, the town's average response time is 7 minutes and 35 seconds. 7 minutes and 35 seconds. This is a significant decrease from where we were previously, where we averaged about 25 minutes per response time, and LifeStar is a 24/7, 365 paramedic level service. The Rome Police Department also experienced an increase in calls. There was 1,708 calls for service in 2021 versus 1,660 in 2020. The department does continue to experience some delays due to COVID and supply chain shortages in getting additional new vehicles replacing our fleet, but we do currently have a fleet of 8. Our tri-lakes were busy as usual with 406 hours of boat patrol and 23 citations and 24 warnings issued. And noted again here for the police department is just our cooperation with LifeStar Ambulance Service, as the BFMR, Big Flats Monroe Rome station, is housed in the police and EMS building, and the co-location has provided added efficiencies for both departments. The town would also just extend thanks here to Officer Mark Stashik, who retired from the department with 19 years of service this year. Chief Jason Labby is our Chief of Police. On to Public Works and Parks. The town completed $640,000 worth of road work in 2021 over our 151 miles of town roads. Derrick Hughes Recreational Area saw an increase in ridership with 6,334 riders in 2021 versus 4,195 in 2020. The addition of a challenge course, a 4-acre sand bowl, and 4 new miles of trails added a lot of buzz around the state's largest ATV and UTV park. The increase in user fees received is also noted on the slide. The town collected 518 loads of brush and timber from the east side of State Highway 13 in 2021, and this took 133 and a half hours. The town will complete brush and timber collection for the entire town this fall. We will release timeframes for collection based on location in order to complete the whole town as efficiently as possible. No letters will be sent this year, as they have been done in the past, so please keep an eye out on the town's website and Facebook page and at postings at the transfer site so you know when your area of the town will be collected. The town did, decrease our waste tonnage in 2021. We collected just over 4 million pounds, and that's versus 4.9 in 2020. And Brad Martinson is our Director of Public Works, and he's hiding right outside of the door, but he checked you in tonight. On to the Rome Water Utility, we had exciting news. Rome Water Utility was featured in the November edition of the Treatment Plant Operator magazine. There's a plaque in the lobby if you haven't seen it that displays that article. We did have, again, an increase in new services with 56 in 2021 versus 36 in 2020. And the Utilities Committee worked with Strand Associates on a water system expansion design, preliminary design. A final report is available from the town, but the Utilities Committee did ultimately delay further action on the expansion due to the cost, maintenance, and no local water supply or health concerns where the expansion would have occurred, which is mainly the Sherwood area. Thank you. The committee will revisit that conversation in January 2023 to see, just in case anything would change. Chad Ziegler is our water utility director and also unfortunately had a pre-scheduled vacation, and so he couldn't join us this evening. As you can see on the slide under building and zoning, you can see our annual business licenses, zoning, and building permits, including 69 new home permits in Rome for 2021. There was an error in the zoning report. If you do have that in front of you, it states less. That's a 92% increase over 2020. It's just another indicator of the growth that's currently occurring in the community. Again, something to mention here, even though it was mentioned previously, is our increase in zoning enforcement. We did have a 5-year timeline for moving through the community, and we have moved up that 5-year timeline and completed most of that work between 2021 and 2022, and that's due in a large part to our enforcement intern that we brought on this year. Many thanks to her for going around town and getting those areas completed. Extension of one more thanks here too, and that's to Greg Baranek, who retired in January of 2022. He was our zoning administrator. Emily Zettes is our new zoning administrator. She did have some really good coverage in the newspaper. Unfortunately, she is out ill today. On the last 2 slides, I just want to mention some of our 2022 major projects. I've noted on both of the slides that this is not an all-encompassing list. Anytime you create a list of anything, you risk missing something. So this is just a sampling of all of the good stuff that's happening in the town in 2022. As mentioned under the clerk treasurer slide, we have and we will continue to decide where to allocate our ARPA funds. The slide does show some of the projects that we've made decisions on to date, and just to highlight a couple of them. The We Energies natural gas expansion is happening this summer. That expansion will start on Kingswood Trail and will travel south along the west side of town. We did just receive an update from We Energies. That main extension will be 23,887 feet. It will connect at least 58 homes to natural gas. And the town's contribution to that, we agreed through ARPA funds, would be up to $65,000. But with the town's support, that and the ability to move forward with the project. That meant that it was occurring, that meant more people signed up, and the town's commitment will be, at this moment, $17,818. And for any owner above 58 that signs up within the next 5 years, we will receive $3,621 back per person. So certainly have the potential to even get back that investment of the $17,000. The town board also voted to complete the crack fill and chip sealing for roads previously scheduled for 2023, along with engineering costs associated with some newly available grants through WISDOT, including some repairs to Apache Avenue, which we submitted a grant to the state for. We'll be working with the fire department on a capital replacement plan for self-contained breathing apparatuses, SCBAs. An SCBA is a device worn to provide breathable air in an atmosphere that is immediately dangerous to life or health. The town has developed a 3-year capital improvement plan for the replacement of our SCBAs, with 8 units being replaced in 2022 and plus 20 masks to allow department members to share equipment until they are all replaced. We will continue to oversee our Lifestar ambulance agreement. Everything has really been working great to date, but the EMS Board of Commissioners will continue to monitor, and Lifestar provides us monthly reports, which are included in our town board packet, along with our neighboring municipalities of Big Flats and Monroe. The town purchased a mastic machine in 2022 and is looking forward to putting it into use to extend the lifespan of our roads. Mastic is kind of a term. It's a aggregate that's poured hot onto asphalt in order to extend its longevity. And you may have noticed that the town removed the trees to extend the Timberline Parkway Road to 13th Avenue in Rome Town Center. We've experienced a lot of growth in Rome Town Center, and the extension of Timberline and Vienna Trail, which would be a new north-south road, are our next steps. The road likely will not be paved this year, but we will be completing the survey and land work process for it. You'll also be seeing new signage in Rome Town Center soon, removing the Alpine Village Business Park and replacing it with Rome Town Center and our new logo. And we're excited for the phase 1 construction of our new bandshell and pavilion in Rome Town Center. It'll be a new and hip placemaking space in our community. An often requested item, the new entry to the transfer site, will be paved in 2022. If the weather would cooperate, it will likely occur very soon. The inaugural Derek Hughes Recreational Area raffle is now taking place. Brad would be happy to sell you tickets, and the funds that we raise from that raffle will be used to rebuild our Supercross track. The Rome Water Utility will be working with the DNR to complete voluntary testing for PFAS. While the town does not have any concerns about them at this moment, given what we've heard and seen on the news with neighboring municipalities and what they've experienced, we just want to be proactive when it comes to testing and reporting results. The Community Development Authority and Plan Commission have formed a subcommittee to review the town's comprehensive plan and to recommend any amendments to zoning code. With the recent growth we've been experiencing, the committee and town board felt now was a good time to look at our future land use and to make adjustments for the overall vision of our town. Resident input is very welcomed through that process, and the subcommittee meets directly before the Plan Commission on the second Tuesday of the month. And not the last item of note, but the last on this list is just some additional communication opportunities. We now have a Rome Government News section in the Wisconsin Rapids City Times. This is part of the Visit Rome monthly calendar. It's another great partnership with Visit Rome. And look for it monthly within the newspaper. That's a free paper that's provided to homes. And in addition, we've been working on programming for Channel 300, programs such as the events that are held out at Point Bass, Day Trip in Wisconsin. Some prior Discover Wisconsin videos have been added to the channel and will be changed on the channel. So if you haven't paused on the channel lately, I encourage you to do so and check it out. You can also program it into your Roku. Before I close tonight, I just want to take a moment to recognize our transition in leadership. Supervisor Wiesinger is stepping away from the board after many years of public service. And we thank you for your years of service to the community. And know that it's not a goodbye, but we're gonna just see you real soon.
You're
Maybe
entirely
tomorrow.
welcome. I'd just like to say, I'd like to thank the residents for trusting me and voting me in for 5 terms. I really appreciate that, and I enjoyed working with the town. There've been some challenges, but it's been great to work with the board, and our staff has been fantastic to work with. We could always find a solution to the problem. And I've always had a goal in life to try to leave things better than I find them. And when I joined the board in 2011, things were not really great. But I'm very comfortable now leaving the board. Town's in good shape. And I was fortunate enough to be one of the persons that interviewed and hired this gal, Jamie, as our administrator. And with her leadership, I know that the town's in good hands. So thank you.
Thank you.
We also welcome new / returning member Lori Giamatti, who will be joining the board this evening. Welcome, Lori. After the meeting this evening, and before we start the regular town board meeting, I invite everyone to stay for a quick slice of cake. There's cake out there. And just to say thank you and welcome in your own way. Before I open it up to questions, again, one big last thank you to the staff for another great year of work. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to the town board and for those in attendance tonight and to the community as a whole. I feel very grateful to be a resident here and have the ability to serve the town on a daily basis. Thank you.
Before we close out number 7, does anybody have any questions on the State of the Town report? Okay, so we will move on to number 8, any other issue over which the town meeting has jurisdiction pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 60.11 sub 6. Questions? Bring them on.
We'll just have you come up to the mic so you can be heard if you had anything you wanted to share.
Now's your time. Any questions on our new businesses coming into town, or? Yes, sir.
I'd like to speak. if I
Sure,
can.
come up to your name and address,
Sure.
please.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Greg Baining. I am a member of the Police and Fire Commission here in the town of Rome. I am speaking as an individual, and I'm not speaking for the Police and Fire Commission. But there is an issue that we have right now. We are really without a fire chief, and we are working at setting up standards and things like that, where we will have applicants come to us and we will try to decide on who will be the next chief. And all I want the townspeople to know is that we will do the best that we can to get the best that we can get for you. Your properties need to be taken care of by our fire department. And that means that whoever is working for the fire department or is the chief of the fire department must know what they're doing. So I'm just saying that we will do our best, okay? And one other thing, when you go home, do me a favor. Go on YouTube, on the videos, and look up interior firefighting, and go ahead and watch the videos, because that's really what it's all about, whether we're gonna save property and life. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to make another note. The town board did create another committee. It's called our grant committee. There's 2 people on it, myself and somebody else knows how to write grants. And the grant's going to clear it up with the board tonight, but instead of just looking at the town, we're also going to be looking at any grants we can apply towards businesses, charitable organizations, residents, anything that's out there. We're just going to turn over every stone, rock, everything the government's got. They're throwing money around. And we're going to try and grab some. So anybody interested in joining our grant committee, please see Jamie. please. Any other questions, thoughts, comments, businesses? You want to mention something about our businesses coming into town? Put you on the spot.
We actually approved 2 site plans just at our last Plan Commission meeting. That was for Rome Country Meats, which will be just north of Geiger, where Geiger Properties is right now. You may have also seen on Facebook an announcement that the Slice of Heaven purchased Geiger Properties. That would be a bakery. And Bison Trading Company is expanding. They purchased the lot next to them and will be expanding that business. They'll have an additional workshop area for their carpentry and building. And again, when you list things, you always worry about that you're missing someone. The gift shop will be opening soon. That's right next to Papa Bear's. And that will have a variety of Rome-centric and gift items. Quick Trip is scheduled to open mid-May, likely before the Memorial Day holiday, that they'll be open and we can see their progress. That's happening just across the street. Up North Brewing, we get often questions. We did sell 7 acres for Up North Brewing within Rome Town Center. They are working on securing contractors and will be bringing a site plan of operation in the next couple months to Plan Commission for that establishment. Am I missing anyone? Briar Tucks, we do tonight. Thought I saw him come in too. We have tonight approval for a license, reserve license for Friar Tuck's to reopen as a restaurant. It will have a name change. It will now be doing business as Cal's Corner.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Yep. So not print like printing materials. Maybe eventually it would it'll be T-shirt printing, decal printing, sticker printing. That has secured a lease in the MPB Builders building.
Question?
Mm-hmm.
Just east of Highway 39 here, or 13, there, I see that there's something going in where there's a lot of things going where they're clearing land.
Are you talking off of County Road D?
Yes.
So Plan Commission did approve a site plan for what would be called the Boat Barn. That's a 20-acre lot in there that would be storage for not just boats, but will be called the Boat Barn, where you see that clearing. There's an additional, right outside of Business District, there was some additional clearing. That's a home.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments, thoughts? Okay, number 9, introduction of new officials. That's me, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Lori? Lori, would you stand, please, and introduce yourself? Oh, come on, do it again. We didn't do it with Bob yet either. Bob's gonna have to stand too. Bob? And Bob, welcome back to the board. That's it, huh? All right, number 10, set 2023 annual meeting date. Third Tuesday is April 18th, 2023. Get a motion?
I would make the motion to set the annual meeting date of April 18th, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Number 11, can I get a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. We are adjourned. Thank you.